When you're in society, you're here. Everyone in society's up here. When you go to prison, you're at the bottom of society. When you go to solitary confinement, you're at the bottom of prison. So you're like too dangerous to be or whatever in the prison. So when they take you from solitary confinement, you're handcuffed everywhere you go. So even though I was getting released that day, they handcuffed me from solitary all the way to R&D, to receiving discharge, to get clothes, stuff like that. Handcuffed me again all the way to the front door. Basically, like right when I was getting out of handcuffs. So as you're
going out the door, then they uncuff you.
Yeah, then it's like, okay, see ya.
I'm a former Detroit police officer and rode with the One Percenter Motorcycle Club. During that time, I was involved in a lot of altercations. I had a gun shoved in my face. The trigger was pulled, and I got a plate under my left eye. I'm Manny Vitale, and this is my story.
How you doing, everybody? I'm Manny Vitale, host of My Fight, Our War. And I was just going to sit here and talk about, how badass I am talking with cold weather and the temperatures until I met Robert Yarber.
Yes, sir.
He brings the meaning of cold in many different ways. Robert, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And we were just getting some backstories. And I'm still laughing because it's just like, what?
Yeah.
What? I mean, I love the shock and awe. I have friends that host shows, and they like to get the background on their guests and a little bit, just like we did, but they want like every bit, like the whole show, like done.
Yeah.
And then do the show. It's like, okay, I love the shock and awe just like the audience does.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do more in one show.
Yeah, I mean,
just what the last 5 minutes we just had.
Yeah.
We're going to be dealing with Robert again. So first of all, why don't you just tell everyone, who you are, where you're from, and then we got to jump into all the other stuff. But let's just start off from the beginning.
I'm Robert Yarber.
Yeah.
Rob does it all on social media. All one word. Rob does it all on every platform. I live in Beitostølen, Norway. It's a ski village in the mountains of Norway. I am American though, but I live in Norway.
Originally from?
I grew up in Northern Virginia, Herndon, Virginia, Fairfax County. That's where I grew up.
From there
Yeah.
to Norway, and in between the journey that I just heard in about 5 minutes is enough to fill probably, and I'm not even kidding, 2 podcasts, what I just heard in 5 minutes. I mean, the little bites that we just had.
Yeah.
Everything from drugs to prison to one of my favorite shows, Deadliest Catch, to the Bering Sea.
Yes.
And it's Robert.
That's me. Rob does it all.
Rob does it all.
That's why I got the name,
So
it's crazy
how
like
do you go from Virginia to the Bering Sea?
Man, I grew up in Virginia until I was in 11th grade, right? My parents, my mom and dad worked in Virginia, so I grew up there. And then when I was a junior in high school, my father had a job at Oregon State University. So I moved over to Corvallis, Oregon, lived there for a couple of years, and I went down to Los Angeles. I played college football at Santa Monica College. Was going to go to UCLA, had a couple knee surgeries, stopped doing that, you know what I mean? I never finished school either because I was in school, like a lot of athletes, unfortunately, I was in school to play sports. So when sports was no longer an option, school wasn't the option. It wasn't like, oh, well, then now you just go to school. It was like,
yeah, we'll do this education.
I'm like, well, I'm not going to school. Like, you know what I'm talking about? I was here to play football.
My dad was like, you only went to school to play sports and chase women. Yeah.
I mean, I'm in Santa Monica. Yeah, exactly. That was you know what? That was another thing. Like when I got to university, and I'm playing football, I'm like, we got weightlifting at 5 a.m. for like hour and a half, 5:30, 5 to 6:30, sometimes 7. Then you shower real quick. Then you got to go to school. Then after school, you got football practice. Then after football practice, you got weightlifting again. And I was like, man, I've been in Santa Monica for like 3 months. I haven't seen a girl yet. Like, where are they at?
Places.
Because I'm just playing football, and I'm just like, I'm in Southern California, man. I'm trying to like have fun too.
Bikinis.
So when I had the knee surgery and stuff like that, I was actually like kind of like relieved because then I was like, well, now I could, do some things, whatever. And then I just didn't want to play football no more. And I was down there, and I went to acting school for a little bit. Went to acting school with Stephanie Turner. Her dad was a former head coach of Washington Redskins. We went to high school together freshman year of high school. So now freshman year of college, we're both in L.A. I was at acting school, and I was sitting on the steps one day, and I was like, Stephanie? I was like, yo, she's like, Robert? Like, yo, like, what's going on? We're like 18, 19 now. We ain't seen each other since we were 15. And she was acting and stuff. And now she's big-time Hollywood director, winning all type of awards and everything. We see each other on Instagram, and I'm like, that's so wild, you know?
The crazy thing, the life, the road that we travel, man. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, all this going on, and I know that in between there was this little prison thing that
Oh,
you
man,
mentioned?
you know, I got wrapped up in some stuff. Went to prison twice. Went to prison one time for a fluke, like, brawl, fight, got jumped at a party, and me and my buddy, we went to prison. In prison, my buddy joined a white supremacist prison gang. It was, like, crazy. I was just like, I'm like, wait a minute. That's like if I joined a gang, we were talking about white devils and all this stuff. Wouldn't it feel weird to you if that was me when we were best friends and roommates, and now I'm in prison talking about this? And he's like, but I'm not really racist. It's just what I gotta, it's what you gotta do. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm in Oregon prison system. We're both in Oregon prison system, and it's a small amount of blacks in the Oregon prison system. So we don't have politics like that. We just are just us, So there's no like pressure to be in any gang. You're just black. So I'm like, I don't know if that's what you have to do, but
that's not what I have to do.
That's not what I have to do. And I don't feel like you had to join a prison gang. I feel like you wanted to join a prison gang.
Thank you.
And but again, like I said, I don't know the inner politics of all that stuff, but I'm like, when you're in a gang with other dudes that got swastikas tattooed on them and all type of stuff, pardon me if I don't feel the love myself. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I'm your boy. I'm black. When we were getting jumped at the party, I'm the one that went to the car, grabbed the baseball bats, saved you, and then got sentenced to prison. When I was in the car, I could have just been like, I'm just drive away. Hey, buddy, I'll catch you when you get home. You know what I mean? But I didn't do that. I was there. And I was like, yo, we in this together. We're going to do whatever together. So when he joined the prison gang, I was just like,
man, that had to hurt.
I was just like, dang, I just didn't understand it because I'm like, you don't even have to do this.
No.
This is Oregon. This is California. This is something like that. Nobody's pushing the line. If you say, hey, check it out, man, I'm cool with you guys, stuff like that, but I don't want to join, nobody's going to make you. You'll still kick it with them, but you just, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I felt the kind of way about that. But then.
How long were you in for?
I did 5 years.
Okay.
But when we got out, I was a groomsman in his wedding. So it was like, it was still love there, and he's forever my brother, but it was just like, he's got the shield tattooed on his leg and everything like everybody else.
Is he still part of that?
Since
he's out? Or,
nah, not really.
It almost sounds like he just like little. I don't want to call anyone out or anything like that. Little, maybe afraid in there instead of trying to power with numbers.
I mean, just some people just have different paths. Is what I'll say. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
gotcha.
That's my boy. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say a negative word on him, but we just have different paths. That's a path he wanted to take, and I was just like, but is this a path you're going to continue? You know what I'm saying? Because when you get out, you still have obligations.
Yes.
Is this something you're going to continue to do? Because I know you, and I don't think this is something you're going to continue to do.
You know him.
Yeah, we went to high school together. My boy, we were roommates. We've been a lot of things together.
Well, hell, you just said you were his best man.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
Or groomsman.
I'm sorry,
groomsman. But
yeah,
still,
I was a groomsman.
That's a lot.
So we were really close. So I'm like, bro, I know when you get out, because we weren't criminals. We got into a fluke fight at a party. You know what I mean? We got jumped by some people, really defended ourselves. So I'm like, you're not going to get out and continue a criminal lifestyle because you're not a criminal. You know what I mean? Like, you're a good dude. You work hard. You work for your father. You got a construction company. You guys, you are a good dude. That's why you're my friend. I'm friends with good dudes, So I was like, I don't know, man. These other people might think, when we get out, we're going to call him. We're going to do this. I'm like, you get out, this dude, they going to answer your phone calls?
No.
And he didn't. He didn't,
So
but
you're 5 years, huh?
Yeah.
5 years and just...
Yep.
Man.
And then I had met somebody in there who was like a trafficker, cocaine trafficker. I guess I gotta specify that because it could be trafficking many different things. Trafficking.
Nowadays, man, it's just like get the menu.
Yeah, it could be anything. He was trafficking cocaine. I met a dude in there, and then when I got out, I was hustling, doing stuff like that because I did 4 years. Met this dude, got out, hustled for 2 years, got caught again, and then did another year, paroled directly from solitary confinement. There was a whole right before we were about to get out. It was like for better terms, it was a race war going on. It was a fight had happened, something had happened, so it was like the blacks versus other people, and I'm like, man, I'm about to get out in like a month.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? I don't really want to be a part of nothing like that because I don't know what's going to happen. Anything could happen. I could get more time, but it's like, if you're a part of this, thing, you got to roll with the car, and if the car's going this direction and you're not going this direction, then you out the car. So I'm like. So I did it, we get in. It was just a brawl or whatever. And 60 of us went to the hole. We was all in the hole. When I got out of prison, I just was in the hole. So they just directly from solitary confinement to the world. I'm like, yo, should I talk to a counselor or something?
I'm sorry, how long were you in for? Or in solitary?
Solitary was only like a month. But, I mean, still, solitaire is a crazy place.
For people who haven't experienced what exactly it is, give them like what your days are like for that month.
No, it's just like you're all by yourself. It's 23-hour lockdown. You get yard, but it's like this little square that you just. It's like 6 steps to the end, 2 steps over, 6 steps. It's very small. And the people inside solitary confinement, some of them are in there for violence, drugs. Some of them are in ADSEG, administrative segregation, because they're afraid to be on the yard or afraid to be on mainline, or they're in danger. So are they crazy? It's just a mental challenge. Like
shit, to be in a little box.
Yeah, like the guy I was next to, he was doing life. He was from Eugene, Oregon, and he had stabbed somebody, and he was high on dope, all type of stuff. He had stabbed somebody at a convenience store. He was telling me the story. He was walking in, and the dude was asking for money, but he thought the guy was reaching. He had like a knife on his waist, and he thought the guy was like reaching for his knife. So then I don't know what happened. Some tussle happened, whatever. Anyway, dude ends up getting stabbed a bunch, and the guy that was in solitary with me was like, I ended up stabbing him, and he was bleeding out. So he ran away. He got away, but then he comes back like an hour later, comes back to look at the scene, and now it's cop cars everywhere and everything. He's under the influence. He's seeing hallucinations, all type of stuff. So he's thinking his girlfriend is in the back seat of one of these cop cars. So as he's like looking to see what's going on, he thinks he sees his girlfriend. So he's like trying to break into the cop car at the scene of a murder
that he committed.
Yeah, that he committed. So the cops are sitting there and they're like, man, we don't know what happened. Just a random guy getting stabbed. Just that whatever. Hey, who's that?
Hey, Bob.
Who's that over at who's trying to get to the cop car? Go check that guy. They go over to him. He's covered in blood. They're like, the guy trying to break into the cop car is covered in blood. We think maybe he's the guy for this. And they're like, we caught him. And I'm like, that's how you got caught for your life sentence? You're in prison now for life. You're like 26 years old.
Oh, my God.
You were scot-free. If you just go home and stay home, maybe they catch you, maybe they don't. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm like, oh, my God. So dealing with him, and then he was like a schizophrenic. So anytime he would ask me something, it would be like, yo, you got an extra piece of paper? And I'm like, oh, man, I just really got a couple pieces. I'm writing a letter and stuff like that. So when you say you're writing a letter, does it mean you're writing a letter, or are you like writing a letter?
A letter.
And I'm like, what? A letter to who? No, I'm writing a letter to like my family and my friends and stuff. Is this like a secret letter to like the police, or what did they ask you about me? And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? I don't know who you are. I don't know anything. Like, everything I say is not like some double entendre that means something else. I just mean I'm literally writing a letter.
So Robert's like, all right, I'm being punked.
No, for real, I'm telling you. And it's like a mental battle, because it's like every single thing I'm like, bro, I'm not the police, bro. I'm just a regular guy.
Because you got no one to talk to besides him.
That's it. And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's killing me. He's killing me, right? So man, I'm dealing with this 23 hours a day. And then when you get out, because you're in solitary confinement. So I wrote a book that's going to get published next year. It's called My Beautiful Nightmare: From the Bottom of Prison to the Top of the World. And that means, my life has been a nightmare, but it's been beautiful. And I was in prison. When you're in society, you're here. Everyone in society is up here. When you go to prison, you're at the bottom of society. When you go to solitary confinement, you're at the bottom of prison. So you're like too dangerous to be or whatever in the prison. So when they take you from solitary confinement, you're handcuffed everywhere you go. So even though I was getting released that day, they handcuffed me from solitary all the way to R&D, to receiving discharge, to get clothes, stuff like that. Handcuffed me again all the way to the front door. Basically, like right when I was getting out of handcuffs. So as you're going
out the door, then they uncuff you.
Yeah. Then it's like, okay, see ya, into the world. And I'm like, no one should go like that, because
that's insane.
You're releasing like a loose cannon. It could be a loose cannon.
Just the guy next to you.
Into society. You know what I mean? Like, what if I would have just gone crazy? I would have just been like, and in Salem, I was in Oregon State Penitentiary. It's right on State Street. It's not like some prisons which are like way out in the sticks and stuff like that. This is on State Street in Salem. This is like as soon as you hit,
right next to the crack house.
Yeah, I mean it's like a grocery store across the street. It's people. It's like so it's like
wow.
Oh man, it's just been a wild ride. Let me tell you.
That I tell you what, building you physically, emotionally, spiritually, something like that.
Yeah,
that is nuts.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
But you know what though? I mean, it's it is funny hearing some of the stories when you're dealing, but obviously at the time it's not funny. And looking at the big picture, it's not funny.
Not funny
but still, I mean,
but
it's
it's
just
funny
like,
now. It is funny
now that you survived and all that.
Yeah.
And by no means am I laughing at the situation.
Yeah.
But to go through that, and first thing you said is, shouldn't I talk to somebody?
Or just
And that
debrief
is
or
so
something.
true,
I don't know.
though. I mean, yeah.
Therapy, counseling, I don't know.
Like a step down to going out.
Yeah.
Would make perfect sense.
Because when you're in solitary, you miss all the reentry program stuff. Like, you don't get to do the courses for, like, the bank accounts and trying to get your license back, how to write the DMV to see what tickets you got, and just the things they do. And they don't do a lot, not in OSP. At least, you know, I was there 2007, 2010, then 2013, 2014, you know. So this is 10 years ago since I've been last there. So I don't know what's changed, but back then, it was like nothing. It was just, you know.
That's insane.
Good luck.
I'll tell you what, man. Everything, I mean, you talk about having a good head on your shoulder. I just met you. But just hearing you speak, just hearing to your methodology and just everything that you're saying, man, is, you know, very, very intelligent. I mean, but just street smart, you know, just everything that you've had to deal with.
Yeah.
And, but still, so we go from prison.
Yep.
First the fight.
Yeah.
Then the trafficking. Then your roommate there in the cage, which was insane.
Yep.
I mean, literally.
Yeah. No, he
being
certifiably
released.
insane.
Okay. Robert, here, wait. Oh, we forgot to uncuff him there. You know, right to the gate.
To the gate, I'm telling you.
That's a lot to process. Okay, now go get a job, be there by 8. Okay, we're good to go. Life goes on as normal.
Now, let me tell you, look, when you get paroled from the Oregon State prison system, you get a check for $40, right? Now, most people go in there, they don't got bank accounts and stuff. I was hustling, selling drugs and everything, so I don't have a bank account. I had cash. So I'm looking at the bank on the check itself. So I'm going to go cash it at that bank. You know, I got my prison ID. I'm going to go there. I got a check for $40. All right, I want to cash this check. Yeah, it's going to be $10 to cash the check. Oh, shit.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, do you have an account here?
No, don't have an account there or whatever, so $10 cash the check. So now I got $30. Okay, so now I need to get a bus ticket to where I'm going, to Albany, Oregon, right? So that's a $20 bus ticket. All right, so now I've just arrived to Albany because I got to go check on my PO. I'm going to stop and get some food. $10 going right there. By the time I've gotten to my PO's office, I now have no money. For the $40, I have no money. And then they want to tell you, you know, you need to get a job. Don't be back into selling drugs. Don't be like, how am I supposed to survive?
That's like basically being set up to fail.
Yep.
I mean, is basically what it is. How are you supposed to? So from all of that, you're, you know what? You are writing a book because, as I say, if you weren't, you need to.
Yeah.
So we go from what you just dealt with there.
Yeah.
Bering Sea.
Yeah. So it was just it was a few years of because I'm a bartender by trade. I'm a bartender in Norway now. I guess I'm a world-class bartender. You know, it feels great to be good at something, you know, because I don't have, like, no degrees, no education, nothing like that, 6 felonies, like, you know, all type of stuff, right? So, you know, I was having my ups and downs with substances and struggles and stuff like that. And I remember a girl I was dating at the time, I was so in love with her, and she had a miscarriage. We were so excited about having a baby and a family and stuff like that. And when she had the miscarriage, man, it just took me into the whole different spin of my life. Like, you know, in a time where, as a man, you should be there for your woman the most. She's carrying a baby, and the baby didn't make it. She really needs you to be there for her. I couldn't even be there for myself, you know. I was basically locked myself in a room and just did everything I could for, like, self-harm. You know what I mean? It was just substances, alcohol, anything you can imagine. You know, they say, what's your drug of choice? Well, what are my choices? Because, you know,
all the above.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever you got, let's bring it, right? So coming out of that fog, I was like, well, you know, I need a job. I need to do something. I was trying to get away. So I looked at Craigslist, and they had an ad for a job connection. And it was like, the last frontier, go to Dutch Harbor, Alaska. We'll fly you to get there and work in this fish processing factory. And then I went. They were having this meeting, like, every week. And I had missed, like, by the time I saw it, it was in Vancouver, Washington. They had already had it where I was staying in Corvallis. They had it in Albany. They had it in Salem, then they had it in Portland. Like, all these places closest to me, they had already had it. So by the time I saw the ad, it was like Vancouver, which is like 2-hour drive away. So I drove up there, sat through the presentation and everything, and I mean, it's a shit job. You know, you're in a fish factory, you're pulling parasites out of fish with tweezers and gilling crab and stuff like that. But me, I was so excited. Like, I was like, so you can fly me to Alaska, go to some island, we're chilling, everything like that. Even the people there were like, you do realize this is a shit job, right? Like,
you're like, hey, it's a job.
Like, you seem so excited for this job, and this job sucks. Like, this is why we're having all these things, and we trying to get people to come. This is why we fly you there, because we need people to go. But I was so excited, right? So I'm like, okay, get there. I figure, hey, look, I get there. They're going to pay for housing. They're going to pay for food, everything like that. You work for, like, you know, season 4 or 5 months. Save up some money. It's a small island. It's on Alaska Island, Dutch Harbor, where it's at and everything like that. So I'm like, you know, how bad could it be? I get there. There was storms and stuff happening. I'm at the Norwegian Rat Saloon, which is a bar there. I'm trying to save money because I want to move to Norway. I've been seeing it on YouTube and everything. It was like the happiest country in the world, 2017, was Norway. And I was sitting there like, man, I'm depressed. I'm sad. My life's going in shambles. And I want to be happy. Well, this said it's the happiest country in the world. So why don't I go there? I mean, it's just to see.
Yeah.
You know, hey, maybe it'll be good. Maybe it won't. If it don't work out, I can always go back to my mama's house, right? You know? So I'm like, all right. So this became like my thing. I was like, I have to get to Norway. This is like the yellow brick road. I need to get to this place just to see what it's like. So I'm in Dutch Harbor, and then there's a Norwegian rat saloon. I'm like, I've never seen a Norwegian bar in my whole life. And now I'm in this little tiny island way off the coast of Alaska. And, you know, so I'm sitting there. These dudes walk in. They need somebody for their boat. Hey, yep, I've never been on a fishing boat. I've never even seen a TV. I've never seen Deadliest Catch. I don't know anything about it. But if it's just hard work, I do know you guys make good money, though. That, everybody knows that. So I'm trying to get on the fishing boat. They're looking at me like, look at this guy, man. This guy never been on a boat, nothing, man. All right, look, we're going to run his ass into the ground the first trip. He's going to quit, and then we'll find somebody else. But we need somebody for tomorrow for this first trip, so we'll just take him. I can see that. I know that's what they're saying. And that's what they were doing that whole first trip. Oh, my God, that job is so hard.
Oh, I love that show. I watched that show, and it's just like, it's been for like 20 years or whatever. Yeah. I remember watching it a lot younger going, yeah. And now I'm like, hell no.
Oh, my God. If I had ever seen the show, I would have never done that job. Because I'm on the boat, and, man, it's rocking and rolling, and this, and the waves are so high, I can't even see the sky, and it comes crashing down the boat. We're working 20 hours a day. The job is hard. If you try to quit this job and do a different job on the boat, every job on the boat is harder than the last job you had. So get your job, shut up, and just do it. Because if you switch, it's going to be worse. So I'm like, I'm breaking freezers with a crowbar. Man, it's like 120 pounds of fish in the freezer you have to lift. It's 55 pounds, right? So everything you lift into the freezer. It's 2 per rack. 1, 2, 1, 2. It goes 2 deep, right? And it's like 6 racks. By the time you get to the bottom when you're laying on your back, like on the side, trying to lift it in there. It takes 4 hours to flash freeze that. When that's flash freezing, there's 240 spaces outside for you to put backups. So then you're doing that. When that finishes, now you got to break the pans because it's cold, it's frozen with the crowbar, and then it just goes in reverse. 20 hours a day, just nonstop. I mean, it's just like
this stop roller coaster.
Boom, 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 boom. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, man, you know, Norway was cool, man, but I don't know if I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just a wild dream.
And you were out there for 3 months.
Mm-hmm. 3 months. 5 trips I went on.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, so the first one was 3 months, right?
No. What I'm saying is the whole season is 3 months.
So that next day when you went out, how long were you out on the water for?
So that first trip was like 3 weeks.
Okay, so 3 weeks you're out there just getting what you knew was going to come. So you come back, and they're like, he ain't going to come back. And you did.
No, I did. You know, actually that first trip, because I was seasick and everything, I'd never been on a fishing boat. And when you go on I've never been on a cruise ship either, but when you go on a cruise ship, they have stabilizers to try to make it easy, and people still get sick on those. But fishing boats, they're not wasting money on that. You know, listen, you throw up, your brain recalibrates, and you get back to work. I'm like, what? All I care about is the fish and the money from the fish. I'm not spending thousands of dollars to stabilize my boat. I'm just gonna find somebody tougher that can work on my boat. You know, so I'm just like, oh my gosh, it was just like the worst. The seasickness and everything. I kept asking people like, yo, are you guys gonna kick me off the boat? You know, I want to stay, but it's up to them. They could just say, hey, you're off the boat, and we're gonna find somebody else. So I was really under a lot of pressure that first trip to work really hard and to stay on the boat, and just because I left that job that flew me up there. I just left. I was at the bar. Those guys said, "Hey, we'll hire you right now," and I just packed my backpack and just left with them.
So I mean,
yeah.
So they saw that you didn't quit. You didn't say, "I quit. I can't do this." So they had to say, "Hey, listen, this guy.
Yeah.
We got to give him another chance," which obviously they did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But I tell you, that show we're talking about seasick and all that.
Yeah.
I saw the show where they've had emergency airlift people off because they are so sick and dehydrated that you could die.
You can, but those guys are pussies, man.
Oh, no,
I'm not trying to say that. You know what I'm saying? Look, I was never on a fishing boat, and I fucking made it. If you really, some people are looking for a way out.
You do what you do, but I swear to God, man, I remember thinking 20 years ago, no, man.
It's like boxing. I think I saw something on, I think it was Teddy, what's the famous trainer, Teddy something. Teddy Rowe. I don't know. He's a famous trainer. And he was like, when you're fighting with somebody like that, these guys want to quit. You just got to give them a reason to quit. Give them a way out. Make it tough on them so bad that they just willingly quit. You know what I mean? They don't want to quit in the beginning because they're tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But boom, boom, boom. By the time you just give them a little bit of a reason, and they're gonna quit. A lot of times, that's what happens on a fishing boat. Is that any type of struggle, adversity you go through in your life, in period, like in general, is that you're gonna go through so much stuff. It's like life is offering you a way out. Like, hey, if you want to quit, there's the door.
You want to take the easy way?
You know what I mean? And man, working on the fishing boat is tough.
Oh, my God.
And you will want to quit. I had to write on the back of my extra tough boots, my fishing boots, on the left shoe, it said Virginia, which is where I'm from. And on the right one, it said Norway. And on the front, I still have these. I can show you a picture. It said my mom's name, Marlena, on my right. And on the left, it said my dad's name, Eric. So when I would want to give up, which is like all the time, oh, my God, that job is so hard. It's like, what? And I put my head down, and I look, and I'm like, man, I can't do this. I can't do this. When I would look down, I would see Virginia, where I'm from, Norway, where I'm trying to go, my mother and my father, and I'd be like, nah, man, I can make it. I can make it another day. And I just would keep going. I still have these same boots. I have them in my apartment in Norway. The names and stuff are faded out, but you can see them. It's the same ones I wore, and it was like the inspiration because it was like, I want to change my life. I want to see the world in person. I don't want to see it on TV. I want to be at the Berlin Wall. I want to touch it. I want to see the Eiffel Tower. Like, you know what I mean? I want to be in the Czech Republic having a Czech Pilsner. Like, you drink a Czech-style Pilsner. I'm drinking a Pilsner in the Czech Republic. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a little different.
You're living the life, not thinking about, not dreaming about. You're living the life, man.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you hear it all the time, man.
Yeah.
We're here for a short time, making a great time. And everything that you're saying, a lot of us say that. Yeah. We want to do that too. To be honest, fear takes over. I can't do it. Well, why can't you? I always tell a lot of people on the show, some of the things I think about is, the only limits that we have are the limits that we put upon ourselves. Mm-hmm. And there are no setbacks, only great comebacks waiting to happen.
Yeah.
But you take that and you live it. And that's something to be so admired, man. Yeah. I mean, you could have, just like a lot of us, like with My Fighter War and all that, people dealing with addiction and all that, we look for any excuse it's always someone else's fault.
Yeah.
Or a way out
to
quit, like you said.
Yeah.
But to keep pushing on the way you have, and it's that mindset. Mm-hmm. And you could do it just like if I can do one more day.
Yeah.
You did it. So if I did that, you could do another day. I mean,
I try to tell everybody, like, I'm not, it's like Jay-Z said, I'm far from a Harvard student. I just had the balls to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not exceptionally smarter than you or anyone else. I had some opportunities, and I took them. I was in that bar, and I was in the Norwegian Rat Saloon in Dutch Harbor, Alaska. And I remember I asked you for the job, like, yo, I'll take the job in your fishing boat. They looked at each other. It was outside by the smoke shack. They were smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer. He had like a Budweiser bottle. And he was like, he finished the bottle, and he turned to me, and he was like, all right, let's go. And I was like, oh, wait.
No, really?
Like right now. Oh, man, because, my suit.
And that was your out.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, my suitcases are at the dorm of the job that flew me up here. I should probably call them and tell them I'm not coming to work tomorrow. Also,
I don't have gear.
You know what I mean? I should call my family, to tell them I'm about to take a job on a fishing boat. That seems pretty dangerous. Probably something they should know. You know what I mean? And he looked at me and he was like, well, you need to call your mommy? you know? And I was like, I mean, like, it's like a older person who is related to me. Some could call her mother. Yes, I do need to, because that's just polite. That's respect.
It's respect.
You know what I mean? It's respect to call because she needs to know. But we didn't have no service. Like, there's no service there. So I couldn't even call her. So when she hadn't talked to me for a few days, she had called the job and been like, hey, so where's my son? And they're like,
we don't know.
Yeah, he apparently took some job on some fishing boat. She was like, what? My son's on a fishing boat? I'm just like, because look, right from that bar when they said, okay, let's go, I had 30 seconds to make a life-changing decision. Because either I'm going to just say, I'm going to pack my backpack, put my laptop back in my backpack and say, let's go. These are people, 2 guys, the deck boss and the first mate of this boat, the Aleutian Sable. These are guys I've never met before, never seen before. A boat I've never seen before. A job I've never done before. A place I've never been before. And I'm just, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, what am I, who does this? This is crazy.
Man, you know what? It sounds absolutely beautiful.
I
mean, and just insane, scary way.
My heart was pounding. But I felt like I wanted something to change my life, and I felt like this was it.
That's a come to God moment, man.
You know what I mean? Because these guys, they were like, all right, look, you have any fishing gear? And I'm like, I don't have any. No, I just have these extra tough boots they gave me, and this stuff for working in the factory. And they're like, nah, that's factory rain gear. That's like stiff rain gear. You need the stuff you can move around in. So we're going to take you across the street to Alaska Ship Supply. And I'm like, oh, gosh, I
can't afford it.
I don't really have. I came to Alaska. I didn't come to Alaska with money. I came to Alaska to get money. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have no money. And they were like, God, this guy, he's so green. He don't know anything. Listen, we take you over there. We're going to charge everything to the boat. And then we take that out of your pay. But the boat has an account at the store. So we just do whatever. So you need to buy blankets, pillows, rain gear, extra rain gear. You got the 1 pair extra touch. You need to buy another pair. If you want, we'll feed you good. But if you want like sodas, gum, energy drinks, things like that, you need to buy those on your own. So, by the time I'm going through the line and they ringing everything up, it was like $2,000. I've only known these guys like 30 minutes.
And they man.
And they paid for everything. And so when that happened, it was like, this is really real because I now owe you $2,000, which means you at least going to employ me to get the money out, to get the money back. You at least got to employ me long enough to get the money back. So I'm like, I'm really going to be on a damn fishing boat. This is crazy. I got the big clear garbage bag. I'm like, we go on the fishing boat. I take the UA. And then the next day, they drove me back to the dorm to pick up my suitcases. And then we sailed out. And I was just like, wow.
As they fired up that boat, and you're seeing that harbor get smaller and smaller and smaller, and that ocean getting bigger.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what your mind was going through.
I didn't know if I was even going to survive. I thought, man, this is a dangerous job. You could die out here.
It's the world's deadliest job.
Yeah,
I love the show.
Like, seriously, you could die out here. My family don't even know I'm out here. I wasn't able to call them. I grew up in Herndon, Virginia, man. I don't know nobody been on no damn fishing boat in Alaska. Are you serious?
That is just insane, man. So you do a total of 3 months on there.
So, and that's also wild because, you've seen the show. I still never even saw the show. I just was on it. I lived it. I still never seen the show to this day. And apparently people just fly to Dutch Harbor just to walk the docks in hopes of finding a job. Like, they'll just, yo, you need somebody for your boat, and they're just trying to get a job because the money's so good just to like get on with somebody. I was just in the bar. I would just
right time.
download, literally the right place at the right time, had the right opportunity, and I took it.
Whoever thought that a terrible stormy night would be the most beautiful night for you
and I was so mad because I was supposed to just go there for a few minutes, log on because there's no like service. So you could pay $5 for a 24-hour Wi-Fi code from the Norwegian Rat Saloon. So you go there with your laptop, download some YouTube videos, Netflix, whatever, and then just go to the dorm so you can watch it. But because of the storms, the downloads were taking so long.
That's what kept you there for them.
Yeah, so I was like, man, I'm here forever. I actually kind of fell asleep. I was in the back cut. You can't sleep in a bar, but I had fallen asleep. So when I got up, I was like, man. I was like, dude, my videos still aren't. I've been here forever, man. And then this is where I was listening. These guys coming in. Seriously, it was like, man, this guy was supposed to show up last night. He didn't show up. Now, how are we going to find somebody for our boat? We're supposed to sell out tomorrow. Where are we going to find some random guy who's just going to be like, oh, I'll join your boat? And I just happened to hear that. And I was just like, this is wild.
Damn.
Yo, I'll do it. So I took the money, and end of the season, the money came in the mail. And, I was real, You know, I got to give thanks to my mom. My mom changed everything because when I got the check, everybody can say what they'll do with money when they get money, but you don't got no money. When you get the money, everything changes. Because you could say, if I had $1 million, I would buy Lambo, I would buy this, I would buy this. And you get the money, and then it's like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. Or I'm going to give you money.
Yeah, so like, originally I had wanted to travel Europe and just go until the money ran out and just see the whole world. I've never been, I've been in prison. I just never seen anything. And then I got the money, then I was like, ooh, that seems like, I don't know, it seems like not a great idea to do. Maybe I should pay some debt off. Maybe I should put like a down payment on a house, have a home, do something prudent, this wild dreams and all this stuff, that's for children, And my mom was like, why did you go to Alaska? And I said, well, I went to Alaska to make money so I could travel Europe and go see Europe. She was like, now you got the money. You went, you did the job, you got the money, you got to go. If you don't go, you'll regret it for the rest of your life.
Man, you know what? Because I wasn't sure which way you were going to go with that when you said, oh, to my mom.
Yeah.
Because, our moms, sometimes you got the dreams and all this. I want to do this and all the lights and the glitter and glamour. Sounds good, but it's not the best situation to do. And there's Ma to direct us in the right direction, which may not be. So I thought you might be going that way.
No, but
she just.
If she had been like, you know what, you're absolutely right. You should pay debt off. You should do whatever and just stay here. That European dream, that was a wild one. I don't know where you got that in your head. None of us have ever been to Europe, stuff like that. I would listen to her because at the time I was like making all the wrong decisions myself. So I was basically asking my parents like for everything. That's why I needed to call them. When
decision
with the guy, because I was at a time in my life where like every decision I made was wrong. You know what I mean? So like I had to recalibrate learning to trust myself and make right decisions, because it was like, if it was like the smallest thing, I would just call my mom or dad just to get a double check.
Get the opinion.
And they'd be like, well, this is a no-brainer. Why'd you call us with this? And I'm like, well, my picker is wrong, So that's why I really wanted to call him. So that was like another moment where it was like, I have to decide on myself. Like 30 seconds, they're like, look, man, if you don't take the job, we're just going to ask the next guy. They'll take the job. And I'm like, God, I just wish I could get service. Like, if you I just need to call, just like, if I could just have 2 minutes, So when they were like, so what's your decision? And I didn't get to call my mom or my dad. And I was like, God, I don't know. I just felt like I'm going to make the wrong decision. You know what I mean? And I just said, fuck it, man. Let's go. And I just went with them.
Did you have, like, when they finally said, well, what's up?
Yeah.
Was there anything like that aha moment where all of a sudden you were just like, you know what, this is the right decision? Or was it all the way to the boat? Oh, shit.
No, I was scared. I was scared the whole time because I was like, what if I wash out on this boat? What if I don't make it? I can't get my job back at this factory.
What ifs.
I just no called, no showed. Tomorrow, like I no called, no showed. They flew me up here. They bought me a plane ticket to fly to Alaska like for this job. And then I just walked out on them. I can't come back and be like, hey, so I didn't make it on a fishing boat. Can I get my job back? I'm like, no, fuck you.
So now they're thinking too, well, I'm sorry, you, well, shit, as far as your inner peace, well, I just did this to these people. Yeah. Now I can't, 24 hours later, do that to these guys who just not only hired me, but then gave me $2,000 in gear. So
I just felt very unsure about myself, and this is a job I've never done. So, man, these guys, fishermen, these are tough guys, man. Like they're insane. They're like, I'm like, there's tough, but then there's fisherman tough, and fisherman tough is a whole different tough. And I have so much respect for anyone who's ever been a fisherman anywhere, especially the Bering Sea, because it's like, oh my God, and there's women that do it too, and it's
the thought process of what I think's normal.
Yeah.
In my life, I remember doing some of the things, and I'm sure you have too, where people are like, man, Robert, are you nuts? You're just like, I've done stuff. Man, you crazy? And then you look at what they do.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's just Tuesday. That's what we do every day. It's like,
I'm gonna tell you a story. Look, I came out because I was in the processing factory on the boat, right? So I was at factory working on the boat, but it's still a dangerous job, And I came out, and the deck boss, Eli was on the crane fixing the lamp. And he was barely, I don't even know if he was trapped in. I think he was just up there straddling the crane with like the mask on and like trying to fix the light. Because I came out and I was like, what the fuck is Eli doing? The sea was calm at the time, but this is nighttime. This is still the Bering Sea, and it's still rocking and rolling. I'm just like, dude, he could just get knocked off into the ocean. They don't even think about it because he's been so experienced. He's been out there like 7-8 years. He is like Bering Sea tough, and I'm just like, yo, these guys are crazy. These guys are certifiably crazy.
And the thing is, they do it so focused.
Yeah,
which makes it even that much more crazy. Yeah. It's just like, you realize that's not normal?
That's not a normal. I'm like, look, I'm here for one season. I'm gonna get the T-shirt. I got my Bering Sea Fisherman LFS hoodies and stuff, and boom, I'm off to Norway, man. They asked me to come back for another year. I was like, no thanks.
Oh my God.
No thanks. I went to Norway. I tried to get on. Tried to get a visa. Got 2 visas, get denied. I left there. Tried to regroup, figure out how I was gonna get back. COVID hit. Then I got a job for European Bartender School, being an instructor for them. For them, I taught for them in schools in Kos Island, Greece, Barcelona, Spain, Stockholm, Sweden, Brooklyn, New York. That's how I first came to Brooklyn. Then when Europe opened back up, I did get a visa. I went to Svalbard, Norway, the world's northernmost town. Like, you can't live more north than Svalbard. It's crazy. Lived there for like 6 months. Got my visa, went down to Tromsø, lived in the north. Tromsø is 220 miles above the Arctic Circle, and Svalbard is an hour and a half plane ride north of that. You know? So then I was in Finnmark, and then Bergen, and now I live in Beitostølen. So now I bartend in Beitostølen.
Man, Robert, I tell you.
So I'm just, out here.
It takes a lot to kind of get me, not speechless, but,
yeah.
To like kind of, wait a minute, to grasp on all the things I just heard. Well, right before we came on, like I said, what I heard in the first 5 minutes is enough to do 2 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy.
And unfortunately, we are going to have to wrap this up. But, well, you're back off to Norway. We're going to be chit-chatting because your story this is just...
It really is, because this is the thing. Like, this is what I try to tell people, right? So, like, I took advantage of the opportunities I had in my life, but everybody's had those different opportunities, and they could be big, they could be small. You could recognize them or you could not. It could be like, you're from Detroit, Michigan. You graduate high school, Detroit, Michigan. You could go to a university at Michigan or Michigan State. You could stay home, or maybe you could go to university in Arizona, or maybe you go in Florida or something like that. Depending on whatever you choose is going to change your life. Because you could go from Detroit to Florida, you could go there, graduate with a bachelor's, maybe get a master's, get a career in Florida, meet a woman in Florida, get married in Florida, have kids in Florida. Now you have a whole life in Florida you would have never had if you would have stayed and went to MSU or University of Michigan. It's the same thing, except just on a different scale. I had an opportunity to go on a fishing boat. I went. I ended up making $50,000. The people that I left in that factory, that same time period, they only made $5,000 in 3 months total. That changed my whole life. I was able to travel the world, do a lot of different things, and I had all these opportunities, and I just took advantage of them. Everybody has opportunities in their life. They don't realize it sometimes, but they do. And whether you say yes or no to those, it butterfly affect your whole life.
Man, so, I tell you.
That's the battle. You got to try to make the choices. You never know.
Robert, to say that this has been a pleasure and an honor is not even enough for what I hope that you know that I'm serious, because there's just so much more that I would love to, and I definitely really want to stay in touch with you.
Yeah.
And learn more about, just stuff, because I think you got so much that you could help so many people with just not only your stories, but your way of thinking and all that could really make a difference in people's lives. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on social media and all that?
Everything is Rob Does It All. All one word. Rob Does It All. Just spelled normally, not any weird. Just Rob Does It All.
Well, I
TikTok,
tell you what,
Snapchat,
man,
Facebook, Twitter,
listen,
Instagram.
You guys, Rob Does It All. He just said it in his
Rob
media.
Does It All. Like,
Rob
I'm out there.
Does It All. And please check him out.
Yeah.
And like I said, I wish this could go longer, but we are going to have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But we are going to be pursuing some things. And again,
Let's do it.
It is so cool to meet you. And hear
thank
these
you for
stories.
having me. I really
appreciate it so much. So please check out Robert. And thank you guys for hanging with us. Please check us out at My Fight Our War on YouTube. Subscribe to us there and follow us over on TikTok as well as Instagram. So until then, love you guys. Keep fighting a good fight.